What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teige Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teige Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teige Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teige Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys. Come on, Apple. That's what happens when you're out of town, right? I appreciate you guys for continuing to hold me down. Thank you. All right, all right. Hopefully everything is normal now. Let's start over. What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. Yo, y'all need to give yourself a round of applause for being here this morning. All right, so as usual, we got work to do. We don't care about the fact that we are out of town. We don't care about what your obligations are. We do not miss under any circumstances. We are live streaming a little bit earlier than what we usually would, and that's partially because I got a call and some business and a flight and tied into certain parties and all of this other type of stuff, right? So again, we still don't miss. We make the adjustments, we proactive, and we take care of business. All right. So I got a full show lined up for you guys. Somebody said, Anton, do you use StreamYard? I do not. I do not. We use StreamYard for the Monday night show. Um, because it's easier for other people that are hosting shows on my platform to be able to do so. But we getting it in. Peace Ali says I sent you an email. Okay, I check the emails. We check all the emails, but we get a lot of emails. So if it takes me a day or two to to check your email or to respond to you, then just give me a little bit of grace because we get over what 350, 400 emails a day. We get somewhere between 400 and 1,000 emails depending on if it's the weekend or the weekday or something like that every single day. So I have people that are dedicated just to making sure that they address every single request. If you guys go to my website, antondaniels.com or anything like that, you'll see the ability for y'all to be able to tap in and get it in. All right. So, first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to ESDC. Shout out to ESDC for always holding me down. I want to give a shout out to Mike That Dude. Shout out to Mike That Dude on Cash App and everybody that support the platform. I never ever ask for anybody to do anything as far as giving a cash app or a super chat or anything like that. But we do appreciate you because everybody and everything counts. I don't care if it's $1. I don't care if it's $500. I'm always going to acknowledge the chat. I'm always going to support the people. And I'm always going to hold y'all down. And I want to make sure that I add value into y'all life. All right. Don Drill says, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, Don Drill. Thank you, my friend. All right. Thank you for supporting the platform and thank you for doing what it is that you do because without you, there is no me. All right. So we had a lot to go over. Today, we're going to go over a little bit of the Candace Owens, Piers Morgan, Marc Lamont debate. I'll share with y'all my thoughts on what happened last night on Hardly Initiated. We also got to talk about migrants. There's a new caravan that's coming up to the southern border. It's a lot of things going on, right? Central Park 5 is suing the Trump administration, and so many other things. All right. So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Also, Teige Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. Shout out to Teige for continuing to hold us down. Buckle up. You're going to be with me for the next couple of hours. We're going to get it in. Shout out to all of the people that's in the chat. Molly, my girl, she was on the panel last night. Azriel, everybody that holds me down. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. So let's go ahead and get started with the show. Shall we not? Shall we not? All right, y'all. Quick hits. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to have each individual segment operate on its own, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop of what's going on in these streets. First things first, a man was shot and killed at a Bronx deli over a stupid argument. Check it out.
Tonight, police are looking for the person who shot and killed a man inside a deli this morning in the Bronx. People in that neighborhood tonight sick and tired and scared about what is happening in their community. Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo has the story from Morris Heights.
Tonight, as investigators remove bagloads of evidence from a Bronx deli, a lone candle burns outside for a life that was taken.
I'm not feeling no good, so my friend died. My friend died.
A life, friends say, that was troubled, providing us with this photo. They knew him as Felipe.
A good guy, but make too much mistake. The drug.
The victim, police say, a man in his 30s, was gunned down inside the bodega on University Avenue just before 7:30 in the morning, adding to the hesitation those in the community have about walking this way.
How do y'all kill people at 7:30 in the morning? 7:30 in the morning, y'all getting into an argument inside of a Bronx bodega and somebody lose their life.
No, never. I never go inside.
Why not?
No, I don't want it.
But it's what community members say goes on right out front of the store that troubles them daily.
I come in here, be careful, but this area very dangerous.
This man, who did not want to show his face, says it's a hotspot for illicit activity.
You know, it's the problem. Some people come in here to buy the drug. You know, they buy the drug, let's go.
Our community members tell us there is often a police presence in this neighborhood, but nothing seems to be done about the congregating that goes on out in front of this bodega. So they say it continues to be a trouble spot in their neighborhood.
They put at risk the people, the customer and the employee at the store.
12 hours after the deadly shooting, police continued their investigation. Friends of the victim say he often slept in the basement of the deli. He would always say he would change, this childhood friend tells us.
Does anybody speak English as their native language in New York or the Bronx? Every single person that they're interviewing is speaking with a different language, a different accent. Is it anybody that's actually speaking English? And I'm wondering, have we brought so many different people over here from different cultures that the very fabric of what America is has changed now to where we don't even operate on American standards anymore? It's standards from everybody else. People is doing whatever they want to do. They bringing their culture. They fighting, they killing, they stealing, they destroying. And I'm trying to figure out, what is American culture now? Nobody in New York speaks fluent English. Yes, you're right, Night J. United States of America is a melting pot, but it still should be a standard. You can't go over to the Middle East. You can't go over to the UAE. You can't go over to Dubai and change their culture. You have to integrate. You can't then bring your stuff over and say, oh no, we a representation. We want rights too. This whole country is just absolutely falling apart. Straight up, this whole country is falling apart. And other quick hits on top of that, Brandon Johnson has decided to have a unified sheltering system, which is basically them combining homeless shelters with migrant shelters in order to save money for this budget deficit. Check it out.
Mayor Brandon Johnson announcing major changes to the way Chicago deals with new migrants.
And WGN political reporter Taman Bradley starts us off by joining us with the details. Taman.
Ray and Micah, good evening. Faced with a staggering budget deficit, the Johnson administration has announced a major overhaul of migrant services. Chicago is set to end its migrant shelter system. By the end of the year, the Johnson administration will combine efforts to help migrants and the homeless. New arrivals will no longer be guaranteed a shelter bed.
We are now able to shift from a large-scale crisis response to a more cost-effective, equitable, and strategic approach that addresses homelessness for all who need support.
Under the shift, the city is eliminating 30-day shelter extensions for most residents, changing hours of the landing zone, closing the State of Illinois Intake Center, and saying that only migrants who've been in the country less than a month will be eligible for a shelter spot. The overhaul comes 1 year after busloads of migrants from the southern border arrived almost every day. The influx overwhelmed city resources and led to migrants sleeping at police stations and airports.
At the peak, there were 12 to 15 buses arriving daily and 15,000 beds in operation.
Since August 2022, when Texas Governor Greg Abbott's busing program began, just over 50,000 migrants have come to Chicago. This morning, there were 4,996 residents in 13 shelters and 21 people awaiting placement.
I just want the people of Chicago to know how appreciative I am of their dopeness.
What did you just say?
How appreciative I am of their dopeness. Chicago to know how appreciative I am of their dopeness.
Okay, first and foremost, we know that they watching the Millionaire Morning Show. Okay? First and foremost, we know that they watch the Millionaire Morning Show. We know that for a fact. Secondly, he trying so hard to be a part of the Cool Kids Club instead of being what the people of Chicago actually need. Come on, man. What are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? I don't understand it.
There's nowhere else on the planet that has been able to stand the test of time in this crisis.
The changes come as the mayor wrestles with a nearly $1 billion budget shortfall. The one shelter system will add 3,800 beds. Mayor Johnson is not ready to say how much that's going to cost.
There will be an ask, but the ask is to respond to this one shelter system. That is the ask. We're asking City Council, the city of Chicago, to embrace an historic moment.
Today, Governor Pritzker said the state, which has partnered with Chicago in the humanitarian effort, worked on the revised plan.
I think everybody understands we all have the interests of the community as well as the migrants in mind.
This belt tightening follows the defeat earlier this year of Bring Chicago Home, a tax on high-end real estate transfers to fund homeless services.
They're trying to basically become Chicago light. Los Angeles light. Anybody that's paid attention to the politics over in California and the politics over in Los Angeles, this is basically what they're trying to do. They're trying to tax higher end individuals or people that have higher real estate transactions to then pull from them and then continue to fund social services while at the same time raising property taxes in order to fund the migrant crisis and the initiatives and plug budget shortfalls. And so that's basically what Chicago is doing. They can talk about dopeness, they can steal terms, they can go back and forth. This isn't something that they're trying to do on their own. This is something that they're trying to do in order to save money because of budget constraints, because they facing a $250 million shortfall this year and a $1 billion shortfall next year. So if you are in Chicago, buckle up. Buckle up if you are in Chicago. You are in for a hell of a ride over the next 20 years. Let me say it again for the people in the back. If you are a resident of Chicago, buckle up. You are in for a hell of a ride over the next 20 years. And unless y'all get somebody to come in and completely upend the political system that's then putting y'all in this bad position in the first place, y'all are going to suffer bad. And I feel bad for the older residents because y'all won't see the turn. See, over in here in Detroit, well, I'm in Atlanta right now, we've seen a turnaround and now everything is going well. You guys are basically going through what we went through, but exponentially on a worse level because you have a larger population and people are going to suffer and y'all don't even own y'all streets till like 2080. So that's what's happening over in Chicago. And then last but not least, a worker, a man killed his coworker because he was obsessed with her, and he was obsessed with how many breaks that she was taking. Check it out.
Louisville police say a man murdered his coworker because he became obsessed with her and focused on how many breaks she was taking at work. 51-year-old Travis Merrill is charged with murder. Court documents reveal that after his coworker complained about him obsessing over her, he created a detailed plan to kill her in front of their coworkers because she, quote, caused him pain, and he wanted her to feel it too. Fox 4's David Centenary spoke with the suspect's neighbors. David.
Well, neighbors of the suspected killer say he was a bit off, but they had no idea he was charged with murder until we told them today.
I see him all the time.
Darcy White says he never had a good feeling about his Louisville neighbor, 51-year-old Travis Merrill.
I kind of felt something strange about him.
White says on Sunday, a relative of Merrill's was moving and giving away belongings from Merrill's apartment.
He gave me these shirts. He said son had to go out of town.
It was not until Fox 4 told White on Monday, however, the reason Merrill is no longer his neighbor is because Merrill is charged with murder.
And so this is that man's shirts. I have a killer's shirts.
According to an arrest warrant, Merrill walked into Allegiance Trucking in Louisville on October 17th, where he worked, and shot and killed Tamara Colazzo, a female coworker. The affidavit says Merrill admitted to police he was obsessed with Colazzo and began getting ever increasingly angry by her taking what he considered to be unauthorized long breaks during work hours, as well as not paying any attention to him.
Y'all gotta be careful who y'all befriend. I said last night on Hardly Initiated that everybody is not your people. Everybody is not going in the same direction that y'all going in. Especially women. Look, man, y'all keep being so nice. I got a homegirl that I coach, and she just so nice. So nice to everybody. And it's a way that you can be nice while at the same time being assertive with what your standards are so that you don't create false expectations from people that then every time they see you, they want to hug. Every time that you run into them, it's hey, my girl, hey, friend, all of this stuff. You know, a lot of times, and I understand it because women just be trying to get out of the situation or they just fall back into what they naturally are. But I'm trying to tell y'all that there are some people that look at you as food, and while you sitting here playing games and saying, "Oh, that's not my natural way to be this way" or whatever, and I'm not telling you to change what's natural about you, but what I am telling you is that you have to let people know up front in your nice, feminine, polite way. Hey, listen, no, you know what? I'm married. No, I'm in a situation already, and that wouldn't be appropriate for me to be on. For me to, no, it's not okay if you get my number and contact me from somebody else. No, it's not okay. It's not this and that because you don't know these people. You think you know them. You think that everybody is just on the up and up, but I'm telling you that there's some people that's doing some stuff behind the scenes. Man, if y'all went home and could be a fly on the wall to see what some of these people' life is like in real life behind the scenes, you would be absolutely surprised. Can we be candid? Can we get to it? I'm in Atlanta right now, so we're in the home of the Zesties and the Sassies anyway. We might as well get there. It's some people that's really bottoms. It's some people that got some bodies that murders has never been solved for. It's some people that then touch some people in a lifetime. It's people that go home and every single day they rub one out or two out or three out and they watch porn all day. It's some people doing some wild things when they go home and they didn't wash their hands before they left out. I'll be mad when I go into the airport bathroom after I catch a flight and I wash my hands and I see people just walking out the bathroom. I'll be like, oh, you just did a number 3. He did a 1, 2, 1 plus 2. He didn't even just do a number 1 or a number 2. They shaking and it's pee all in their pants. They still peeing in their pants when they get off the urinal. Y'all ever walk past some of these women's bathrooms? It be foul. Some of these women's bathrooms be foul. It's some dudes out here that can't wait to give you a hug, and then they preserve that shirt and they be sniffing it at home. Can't wait to get a pair of your panties. I'm telling you, man. Look, it's some people that got some real issues in life. And if y'all don't start setting boundaries, and if y'all don't start being stay in your femininity, but set some hardline boundaries, they gonna be sniffing your hugs. Every time you hug, oh, can I get a hug? And then they be behind you like this, trying to take in your scent. And spirits is in people also. I want to tell y'all that also. It's some spirits in people that leap off into you, and when you're around certain people or when you shake their hand or when you hug them, that's why you got to wash your hands often, because it's not just about being clean, it's also being released from those demonic spirits, because people carry these spirits with them every day. And I know that y'all ain't believers, I know that y'all don't believe in spirituality, but I'm trying to tell you, it's a real thing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right, let's go ahead and get back into the show. Read a couple of these super chats. And yeah, it is people that walk around sniffing seats. You're absolutely right. Kay Cooper says, Anton, you cooked them last night. They was mad at us in the chat. It's okay. Cause we gonna talk about that. We gonna get there. Miss Crow T Shetty said, and thank you, baby. Thank you, Kay Cooper. Shout out to Miss Crow T Shetty for the, well, first of all, let me acknowledge Kay Cooper's super chat. Miss Crow T Shetty, shout out to you for the super sticker. Sean S says, morning AD, you killed it on a debate last night. Didn't get a chance to call in, but it was a great combo. Thank you to everybody that show love and support me. Listen, we pulling up to the op territory to tell the devil exactly what they are. We gonna get there today. All right, y'all. Let's continue into the show. First, let me acknowledge a couple of the cash apps also, because I want to make sure that the people. Okay, Mike, that dude. I appreciate you for holding me down. Thank you, my friend. Shout out to Mike, that dude. All right, let's go ahead and get into the show. Right. So we got a few things that we want to cover. First and foremost, I want to talk about these migrants. I'm gonna read that magnetar in a second. Migrants is on their way into the United States of America, and they still flooding the southern border. Check it out.
Happening right now, cities along the southern border are bracing for a massive migrant caravan making its way through Mexico. 2,000 migrants who crossed into southern Mexico on Sunday say time is of the essence, saying they're afraid of asylum changes under a new president come January, worried that this is their last chance to get into the country. News Nation's Jorge Ventura has the latest from San Antonio this morning. Jorge, I'm curious how these cities are now preparing for another new migrant surge.
Good morning, Mark. Yeah, so this caravan is around 2,000 migrants. It's on its way north right now to the U.S.-Mexico border. And officials across Texas say they are in active alert, including officials in El Paso. Now, officials in El Paso are adding that they are tracking that caravan's movement and are in active conversation with Mexican authorities. Many migrants are now viewing this as kind of their last chance to make it into the United States and seek asylum. With that upcoming election, migrants are expected that with a Trump administration, with that possibly of winning in November, that the Trump administration could introduce more of those hardline immigration policies and cracking down on asylum, but also ending that CBP-1 Act, which Mexican officials say now migrants are growing very impatient with, and say that we could possibly see even more of these smaller groups come here to the U.S. Now, right now, Mark.
Think about that for a second, y'all. Listen to what they saying. Now we know what that CBP-1VH or whatever it is, migrant parole program is, and we know that the Biden administration, which includes Kamala Harris, put that into place in order to try to upend what we see happening in these cities. Think about what they're saying to y'all right now. They're saying that the migrant crisis is in full swing because they fear that they will not be able to walk into this country illegally anymore when Trump becomes president of the United States of America. They are paying attention to American politics because even they know the difference between Trump and Kamala Harris. Are y'all hearing what I'm telling y'all? Because we act like we idiots over here. Everybody is confused, and I see all of these people on TikTok, vote blue because I don't know, I don't like Trump. Think about what we talking about. Are you telling me that illegal immigrants, again, I'm cool with people that migrate over to here legally. You're telling me that there are illegal immigrants that are paying attention and is more purposeful when it comes to participating and capitalizing off of the election that's coming up because they know the difference and they understand the life and death situation that comes along with. They understand a life and death situation that comes along with and how fortunes can change. Families can absolutely capitalize off the American system. They are more participatory in our American election and intentional with their actions. Baby, baby, can you shut these doors, please? This one and that one. This one over there. They're more intentional with their actions than us over here in the United States of America. So when I see people that tell me that they don't participate in the election process, I just say to myself, how stupid, not even ignorant. Because if I say ignorant, then that would give you an excuse to say that you didn't know any better. If y'all just now getting into here, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. If it's more than your first time being here, feel free to subscribe because this is what we do every day. And I don't miss. We have people over here in the United States of America that will say that it doesn't make sense for us to vote and my vote don't count. But it's people that's overseas capitalizing off of your ignorance and they paying attention. And even though they can't vote, they say, listen, this is our last chance. This is possibly our last chance to take advantage of this system. And we have people here in the United States of America that A, don't vote, B, are not informed, C, don't even know what's happening on a local level, and then D, completely ignore the fact that even immigrants, even people overseas know that we have the most relaxed system ever in their lifetime and in history. And they saying, listen, we was procrastinating, but we gonna have to go over here and get over to the United States of America. And we not even sneaking. We walking in a whole caravan. We're walking hundreds of miles to the United States of America before November 5th, before January 20th, before the vice president can certify the election to make sure that we get into the United States of America and take advantage of the taxpayer system that's going to make sure that we got good lives. Interesting.
It's unclear if that migrant group would head to El Paso or another entry point here in Texas like McAllen. But officials say they are expecting that group to start making that way closer once they kind of reach Mexico City. We'll kind of see what direction they head to. But El Paso saying they are in active communication with Mexican officials at the moment, tracking that group headed to the U.S.-Mexico border, Marky.
Yeah, and this group calling themselves God Guides Us. Yeah, we'll be interested to see, what they look like, where all they're coming from. What's been the reaction from leaders here at home, Jorge?
So News Nation's border team, we did obtain an exclusive statement from GOP Homeland Security Committee on this caravan saying, quote, this is from Chairman Marc Green saying, quote, it's quite simple would-be border crossers know that their best chance to be released into American communities is under the open border policies of President Biden and his border czar Vice President.
Listen to what the GOP Homeland Security Committee, Marc Green, says. The chairman is quite simple. Would-be border crossers know that their best chance to be released into American communities is under the open border policies of Joe Biden and his borders are Vice President Kamala Harris.
President Kamala Harris. He added that in his view, the crisis won't end until there's a change in policy and immigration laws are fully enforced. President Biden.
Oh, so that means that you don't need an agreement. You don't need an agreement. You just need to enforce the laws that are already on the books. Hold on one second, y'all.
Biden and Vice President Harris continue to defend their record on border security. President Trump saying if he wins, he'll carry out the largest deportation operation in American history using the National Guard and local police. Now, while Vice President Harris stresses the need to keep limits on asylum and close those loopholes, some have earned that pathway to citizenship. And Mark, I've been in contact with my Mexican sources who say they do expect for this caravan to actually be broken up around Mexico City. They expect for Mexican authorities to crack down on that group. So we probably won't see that big caravan all arriving all at
So y'all listen to what they saying. Hold on, listen. Let me replay that for y'all.
to actually be broken up around Mexico City. They expect for Mexican authorities to crack down on that group. So we probably won't see that big caravan all arriving all at once, but we'll probably see those smaller groups start to make it to the way to the U.S. border after that crack.
They're depending on Mexican authorities to break up the group so that you won't see them all at once over here trying to cross over into the United States of America and get over here before Trump become president. What is this country becoming, man? And y'all sitting here listening to this woman that stands on a pulpit that don't even acknowledge God, that won't even say the name of Jesus, that 100% supports the things that's worse for your community. Y'all are voting for your own demise. Y'all are voting for your own demise. And you okay with it? You okay with these people that are unvetted to flood your schools, and they are going to be sitting right next to your sons and your daughters off of your taxpayer dime and the higher property taxes that y'all raising inside of y'all cities. They're combining shelters. They call it a unified sheltering system over in Chicago. They just signed a $100 million extension on their staffing companies. Chicago is in shambles. Property taxes is going up. You just seen a woman that was on my show yesterday. She said that, man, this city is the most corrupt city on the face of the earth. And y'all continue to vote the same way every single time. I almost feel like I'm in a twilight zone. This is impossible. How? How is this even how is this even close? How do we even have polls, regardless of how wrong they are, that's saying that it's a dead heat? This should be a blowout. This should, after what y'all experienced over the last 3.5 years, can you imagine 8 more years of this? Of not enforcing border policy, of people feeling like they could just come into this country and do whatever they want when they want to do it, of more small cities and towns being overran and them automatically overnight becoming the majority of the population in your city to then determine what happens in your elections and your school systems. This is crazy, man. This is insane. But your party, your vote, do what you feel is best. Let me read a couple of the super chats and then we're going to move over into the next subject. We're going to power through some of these subjects quickly. We don't need to beleaguer the point. Magnetar17 says it's all facts. However, all of this goes away when you work from home. Like I said yesterday, the dinosaurs want to be back into the office. Shout out to Magnetar. I appreciate you for pulling up and supporting the platform. Young Hove says you can tell a person's crib is dirty before you step in. Just look at their broken they broken blinds. Now, there's some people with some money and got some nice houses that's just absolutely demonic. JT says former Abercrombie CEO arrested for sex trafficking. Yeah, I was familiar with that. We're gonna cover that tomorrow when I'm back in the city. JPZ Too Cool says good morning, everyone. I'm gonna tune in to watch later, studying for my Sec Plus. Y'all have a great day in the page. Have a great day, Patreon back chasing for life later. Shout out to you, man. Go and get that money, big dog. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description. Frederico says, listen to Anton versus Kayada Harris this morning during my morning drive. Did you enjoy it, Frederico? Did Anton from Anton Daniels cook as usual? We'll get to that. Breaking Mediocrity says Canadians pay thousands to live in the U.S. Mexicans, zero. Mr. Joe says, Anton, did you see that Laughlin, Ohio is struggling financially because of the influx of migrants? No, send it to me. I don't know if y'all don't send it to me because I'll be so focused on debating people. and breaking it down and getting to it. All right. Shout out to King Stennis, my dog. King Stennis says, I got this super sticker for you. Thank you, King Stennis. I appreciate you for holding me down. All right. Can we go into the next thing, please? Absolutely, we can. All right. So I seen this come across my desk the other day, and they were saying that the Central Park Five is suing the Trump administration. This is their lawyer on on NBC. This is their lawyer on NBC. Take a look at these five brothers right now. Now, the one in the middle, that's the one that was simping out. Remember when I told y'all shouldn't be trying to save single mothers from themselves? Well, the one in the middle, he got his money and then he started spending it on Delicious from Flavor of Love. Now she goes by London Charles, and that's my homegirl. But she certainly finessed Raymond Santana. But anyways, I used him as a poster child down here at the bottom. But now they're filing a lawsuit against Trump. Honestly, I just believe that they broke, but that's just my opinion. Let's get into it.
The five men who make up the Central Park Five, now calling themselves the Exonerated Five. They're suing the former president over his remarks during last month's debate. As a reminder, the Exonerated Five were a group of Black and Latino teenage boys wrongfully accused of raping a woman in New York Central Park in 1989. After hours of interrogation, they confessed but later retracted their statements, saying they were coerced. They pled not guilty but were ultimately convicted and served several years in prison. More than a decade later, DNA evidence and the confession of a convicted rapist proved their innocence. Today, now free and advocating for criminal justice reform, the group has filed a defamation lawsuit against Trump for these comments at his one and only debate with Vice President Harris.
They said they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty.
Okay, but all...
So I'm trying to understand where the disagreement is. Let me play it again just so we all on the same page, all right? This is the comment that they're suing him for in a debate.
Harris.
They said they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty.
Okay.
Okay, so Trump said that if somebody pleads guilty, because that's what was advertised, that's what was proposed. He said, if somebody pleads guilty, then I'm going to say then they deserve whatever sentence that they get. And they changed it and they said, well, we're not guilty, and they were exonerated. And he said, oh, okay, cool. So I'm trying to understand where are we off at? Where's the defamation at? Where's the what am I missing? Am I missing something, y'all? This is their lawyer as to why they're suing the Trump administration.
But all five had pleaded not guilty, and the victim of the attack, which was horrific, survived. Trump's comments on the case go back decades when he published this newspaper advertisement in New York's four main newspapers just days after the five boys' wrongful confessions in 1989 coerced confessions, saying, bring back the death penalty and, quote, they should be forced to suffer, and when they kill, they should be executed for their crimes.
And so I'm trying to understand if they pled guilty and the thought was that they were actually guilty because they saying that they had admitted that they did it in 1989. Y'all grasping for straws so hard. Man, listen, this election is in such shambles for the Democratic Party. They are grasping for straws so hard.
Joining me now is Shannon Spector, a trial lawyer who represents the Exonerated Five. Shannon, thank you for joining Top Story tonight. So do you have a case here, and what is your lawsuit about?
Well, thank you, Tom, for having me. And I could not express it better than you did at the top of this segment. On September 10th, in the debate with Vice President Harris, Donald Trump wrongly stated that these five men pled guilty. He wrongly stated that they killed the victim. Neither is true. And in fact, these 5 men have been thoroughly exonerated.
Now remember, y'all, this is from 1989.
The guilty person admitted guilt. His DNA was matched to the victim. He was convicted. He went to prison. These 5 men not only were exonerated, but the DA filed a motion with the court to have their convictions vacated. The judge signed that order. So there's no doubt that these men are not guilty. And Mr. Trump persists in this 35-year campaign of hate against these 5 men, even though he knows better. He knows now for over 20 years that these men are not guilty of that heinous crime.
The Trump campaign released a statement responding to your lawsuit, saying in part this is just another frivolous election interference lawsuit filed by desperate left-wing activists in an attempt to distract the American people from Kamala Harris's dangerously liberal agenda and failing campaign. One of the 5...
And they're 100% accurate. This is a lawsuit that is basically trying to promote into the minds of the people. And you know, most of the people that even talk about the Central Park 5, most of the people that even comment on, well, Trump said Central Park 5, they don't know nothing. They're not even aware. They don't even really know what's going on with the Central Park 5. They don't know when the article came out. They don't understand the context behind it, but they're not looking to understand. They're looking to respond. I experienced that last night.
Appears in a radio ad, as you know, for the Harris campaign. Does that bolster the Trump campaign's claims that this is politically motivated?
No, Tom, it doesn't. I'm not here to talk about politics, about elections, or anything of the sort. We're seeking redress for these 5 men for being horrifically defamed in front of 67 million Americans during that debate.
Horrifically defamed.
I think it's unfortunate that President Trump had his campaign spokesperson undertake that attack against these 5 men instead of having his lawyer respond and say whether the lawsuit is true or false.
Shane,
this
I want
is
to ask
a
you
matter
about
for
that.
the courts.
What does the law say? Could Trump come out tomorrow and say, oh, you know what, I made a mistake. I was at the debate. I was under pressure. I simply misspoke. Would that be enough to drop this lawsuit, or that's not enough?
Tom, I don't know of any human being to whom Donald Trump has ever apologized. So,
see how he avoided the question? And I'm going to tell you why he avoided the question. Because this is not about respect. This is very similar to a lot of the people that came out of the woodwork and then wanted to file a lawsuit against Diddy after all of the years when they seen Cassie get paid. This is a shakedown, in my opinion. And this is also, in my opinion, election interference to try to swing people to feel a certain type of way because her campaign is failing. This is nothing but a shakedown. What was that, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, or something like that? This is a shakedown. Why wouldn't he say, oh, yeah, that would be enough? Because this is not about respect. This is about cash, boy. This is a money grab. This is absolutely about a money grab and election interference, in my opinion.
I'm not holding my breath that he would apologize to these 5 men. But if he would do that, that would be fantastic.
Why would he want to do that? Because then that would be some form of admission of guilt. I'm not apologizing to anybody, especially if I meant what I said. If I thought that they was guilty because that's what everybody else was saying, why would I think anything differently?
Would issue a retraction, that would be fantastic. But I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. Finally, the exonerated 5 received $41 million from New York City when they were cleared in 2002. As you have mentioned, these comments from former President Trump sort of make them have to relive what they went through when they were sitting in prison for a crime they didn't commit. What are your clients seeking now?
They're seeking to clear their names once again. This has all been dredged up again. They've been accused on national television to a huge audience of having pled guilty and having killed this woman. Neither of those things is true. They're seeking a trial to clear their names. They're seeking damages to compensate them.
There it is. Damages to compensate them. In 2002, they received $8.2 million apiece. 41 million divided by 5 is $8.2 million. take out the lawyer's fees, which is probably somewhere anywhere between 30 to 60%. Let's just say a cool 45%. Well, that would leave you with a cool, what, $4 million a piece? $5 million a piece on the high end? I don't think you pay any taxes out of lawsuit money, do you? Let me research that. Taxes. Settlement money and damages collected from a lawsuit are considered income, which means that the IRS will generally consider that money taxable. However, personal injury settlements are the exception, which means car accidents and slip and fall settlements are non-taxable. So that means that, let's say, for example, on the high end, after the lawyer's fees, that they get $5 million a piece, which means that you then have to pay taxes on that money. Okay, so after that, let's assume that you take home on the high side, if you wasn't, because you don't have any financial literacy and you running into this money, let's say you take home $3 million. Let's make it generous. Let's be really generous. Let's say somehow, some way, you got a good tax attorney, tax strategist, and CPA, and you take home $3.5 million after the lawyers get their cut, and you got to pay the IRS and taxes. That ain't gonna that ain't gonna sort you out, baby. We are in 2024, so y'all got that money in 2002. That means that 22 years later, especially after Raymond John was spending all of that money on not Raymond John, Raymond Santana was spending all of that money on Delicious. Delicious. Remember that? Remember when he was simping and triggering out because he had never experienced the type of woman like that before? Next thing you know, they was getting divorced and he was saying, "She used me." They got Jordans. I seen one of them get a chain. They started getting the Instagram models that they wanted. All of the ones that was in the videos and stuff like that. Yeah. Money low. Money a little lower than it was. Didn't necessarily make the right investments. Got to run money right before 2008. What y'all think? Y'all think that they living off the interest? They put all of the principal up, or they was tricking that money? Woo! Wait, listen. Even if you got, let's see, 22 years, 3.5 million. Let's see what kind of salary you would have to pay yourself before you ran out of money. Assuming that you didn't do anything except for live frugally, right? 22. Well, let's do this. Let's do it like this. Oh, this new Apple calculator is sweet. Let's say on the generous side they got 3.5 million, right? Divided by 22 years. That means that you could pay yourself $160,000 a year for 22 years before you go broke with and the money is already taxed. Y'all think that they was fiscally responsible with that? We're seeking compensatory damages and an opportunity to clear our name. Get the hell out of here. So that is what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, with the Central Park Five. Let's see if there's anything else to mine out from this.
For their loss of reputation and their emotional name produced on national television to a huge audience of having pled guilty and having killed this woman. Neither of those things is true. They're seeking a trial to clear their names. They're seeking damages to compensate them for their loss of reputation and their emotional distress, and they're seeking to have an award of punitive damages against Mr. Trump to punish him and deter him from making these kinds of statements and taking this kind of conduct in the future.
Attorney Shannon Specter.
So she can bring up something and he can add the context as to what he was thinking at the time that they were basically being convicted. And this is so stupid. This is so wild. Anyways, yeah, man, y'all, that's what's happening with the Central Park Five. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're gonna go into the next thing. All right, we're gonna go into what happened last night. American Man says sniffing seats and women is not the move. Tell me about it. Sniffing women, that's crazy. And some of these women stink too. Eric M says, did you hear about NYC renting out 14,000 hotel rooms for illegals? Yes, I did do the story on that last week. The Central Park 5 are broke. Of course, they're looking for more money. Y'all think that they broke? I would love to get one of those guys. Let's get Raymond Santana. Let me reach out to him and get his perspective. See if he want to come on to the show. Phoenix, but I like that name, Phoenix. Phoenix Blaze says, go Trump, we are done with this mess. Return to sender ASAP. Shout out to Phoenix Blaze. Sizuri says, our current government flying them indirectly, bypassing the border. They are. That is true. AJY says that lawyer is a bloodsucker. When has any lawyer not been a bloodsucker? B Nice says advocating for criminal justice reform then voting for Kamala is crazy. Does the Central Park 5 know her record? She put way more black men in. Listen, these guys, who said that they were the most intelligent group of people on the face of the earth? Matthew Adams says the Central Park 5 is paid by Kamala and company. Oh, that's where all of those donations was coming from. Shout out to Two. Two says this is BS given is dealing with black men. They are trying to sway people. Get the out of here. All right. Trenton says, what do you think about the election delay? What's up? I heard that it's going to take 4 days to count the election. We're going to go over that a little later in the week. I got it slotted on the schedule. Dave Burning Miles says they act like Trump been saying this for 20 years. They just want money. Nobody cares about them like that. And shout out to you, Anton. Appreciate your dopeness. All right. We back. Had to switch over to get a different this good old hotel Wi-Fi had us frozen, but we back. If y'all need to, y'all might have to refresh the browser, but we gonna get to it. Let's see what we got. Loaded Locks. John Henry says Raymond Santana married Delicious from Flavor of Love and she ran for his bread. Shout out to you. LeGarrett says, I thought the Central Park 5 got paid out years ago. They broke already? I don't know. Shout out to you. Devontae says, truth be told, those dudes were soft. One of them was 16. Ain't no way someone could have made me confess something like that at 16. Seminole says, I see they giving you the CGA treatment. Big dog. Talk about Cam and the Dims and the YouTube gonna snipe the stream. Nah, that's my internet connection. That's the hotel connection. And then we got High Tolerance. High Tolerance says, Ultima, Smaltima Taltima has taken over the Millionaire Morning Show. Shout out to you. All right, we back. Y'all might have to refresh the stream because again, this hotel Wi-Fi be acting a little shady. But we back. We into it. It's all because of the hotel Wi-Fi. The other people couldn't make it into the live stream, or it was something that was wrong, or they was renovating or something like that. So we just did it remote. This time we had an opportunity to do it in person. And that's what made it way more fun because you had to face me, right? And I think a lot of people get away with a lot of things when they don't have to face you. But it's a whole nother thing when you're sitting in front of somebody. So let me play a little bit of this, and then I'm going to give y'all my thoughts in a second, okay? So let me see if I can switch over real quick. Let me check something. Y'all need to refresh your browser. Hold on, let me see something. Y'all might have to refresh your browser. Refresh your browser, man.
And how he basically says one.
Refresh your browser. Okay. Refresh your browser. All right. There you go. Okay. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's deep dive. Let me see if I can scrub through to figure out where it is that we want to go up.
Attributes because they haven't fully developed themselves.
How code again for him tonight?
Debate. DEB. Flesh and blood. So I don't believe, in general, I don't know him. I don't know because we know of young girls.
Very first conversation. You can solve for 99% of all men.
And physical takes a real woman in her.
Woman, is it the
every person that's doing something good or well ability for
Right.
it. I don't believe that people are getting finessed like you painted the picture. I believe
you recommend
him. And
now,
ladies,
admitted to and opened up your legs to, and you've gave your body to.
Pray to God, got on their knees, talk to the bride by
maintenance. I think that we need to be more proactive.
I'm saying if you're already in this mix, find out.
He said word for word. All
Right,
so let's go here.
You don't know. All I get them on until you find which one is for you. I didn't say sleep with them. I didn't say cook for them. All I'm saying when I said the woman.
I want to pull up this before we get here because this is good. So I'm gonna pivot for a second. I want to show y'all something. All right, I'm gonna get into that in a minute.
Is he at least paying your bills? Because that's what a husband does. People are taking my words and putting their own remixes on them.
I didn't say you said anything that you didn't say.
I'm talking to him, brother.
No,
It's okay, brother. I love you. Hey, bro, I love you, man.
No. You talking to him, but
so
you debating me.
A lot of people, Go
ahead, Kamala.
Honestly, talking to you now, I realize it's not even a debate. Because a lot of our basics are similar. A lot of the foundation of what me and him talk about is similar.
True.
It's just different angles from different perspectives. And I understand his opinion. I see it, and I respect it. Yeah, I think that might be my little brother right there. You never know.
That's cute.
See, that's my favorite line too. That's cute. That's my little brother. But all I'm saying, when I said the woman should date multiple men, I'm not saying cook for them. I'm not saying sleep with them. I'm saying if you're already in this mix, find out what's good for you. You don't have no children as of yet. Go ahead, enjoy yourself, but make sure there's a limit onto what you do, because you're already in that field. I'm coming from her understanding. Go ahead. Now, if this is a young girl coming to me, hey, Yada, I'm thinking about such and such. Sister, stay focused. Keep your body to yourself. If you're still a virgin, hold it. If you've already lost your virginity, stop. If a man truly loves you, which the woman is the prize, if a man truly loves you, he's going to become a champion, and he's going to show you why he wants you in his life. So ladies, if a man is unable to provide your every need as a husband should do, he's not the one for you. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to stand on that. I'm harder on the men, yes, because men are the leaders.
So let me close this poll out real quick.
No.
Go ahead, come on.
So should she date or should she not date?
The woman that I was speaking to, I came from her understanding. And I said, sister, you got 3 men, date them all until you find which one is for you. I didn't say sleep with them. I didn't say cook for them. Go to the movies, hang out, have the conversation with them. The one that's for you.
The pandering and the changing of the perspectives was amazing. The pandering and the changing of perspectives was amazing. Let me see if I can get to the beginning of this, all right?
So essentially, I'm actually shocked here because believe it or not, it's actually a lot of agreeing going on this question. But
this woman changed her whole life.
Let me see if I can get to the beginning of it.
But in the community, woman, they're not with
there you have
so
it.
it's environments. Is it never going to work for you? It's never going to work for the abilities in that have how they have. You don't see that anymore.
Let's shout out the products right here because we got 2 businessmen.
It's because grown accurate.
Go describe everything. The reason why they become 100% that to where we're no longer hunters and gatherers. And other they see that as far as the what was the second question? Instead of deal for you is there, but they're supposed to fail again.
But well, I don't care what's going on. Apps you're going to other say and are you man how it is so you just
a lot of
Mary Magdalene.
Really?
Hold on.
Really?
I don't agree.
I don't believe in
Wait.
on the concept of submission.
I understand that. So, scripture, man, I'm proud of y'all.
Facts. So essentially, I'm actually shocked here because
I've held was owned, but sitting in front of this beautiful brother. I got Magdalene about this. He held of God's erected Mary Magdalene, walking with the and I do. Oh, greater.
Because believe it or not, it's.
I understand that. So let's swing it a little bit. And I want to start with Anton. Mm-hmm. Do you think that women's dating expectations are too high? Because the men are saying women want entirely too much during the dating phase.
I don't believe in dating.
I agree.
Really?
I don't agree.
I don't believe in dating
at all.
So he couldn't wait to agree with me because it got a little bit sticky for him in the beginning. And we got Simpson in the chat right now. All right. He said, I don't believe in dating. He says, I agree. I go into the context. Some of y'all may need to refresh. I go into the context and I say, I don't believe in dating, and I explain why. Let me play it again for y'all.
Because the men are saying women want entirely too much during the dating phase.
I don't believe in dating.
I agree.
Really?
I don't agree.
I don't believe in dating
at all.
So how do you get to know a woman?
I think that you know your wife when you meet her.
Really?
Hold on. And this is why I say. He said, Yada, when you he just mentioned, you said a man should have 300,000. Like he said, man should go after a woman with purpose, not to date her, not to sleep with her, not to have children out of wedlock. That's my wife. I'm going to court you for however long, but this is going to end in marriage. And this is why I say.
So he doesn't believe in dating. Then he goes on to say, because I couldn't wait to wake up this morning and have this conversation. I added the context. He goes on to say, no, I don't believe in dating. No, you shouldn't date and all of this other type of stuff, right? Then I catch him up because then later on he say, yeah, you should date. I believe, and the reason that I caught him up, because he didn't say you should date, I then cited something that I had watched when I was getting in the shower to go over there and do my and do this debate with them here in Atlanta. I landed on the plane, I jumped in the shower, and then I went over there and I got my, got that work in, right? Gave him that work. I type his name in, and okay, cool. I see him on Angela Yee's lip service. I've never actually watched his content outside of the couple clips that y'all sent me after I told y'all that I was going to go and debate him, right? Because I seen him on Hardly Initiated before. So I watch Angela Yee's lip service, and so I'm getting in the shower, and I'm shaving my head and all of this stuff. And then I go over there, and then I say, they ask me the question, they say, Anton, do women have high expectations? I say, I don't believe in dating. And I've been consistent on this for years and years and years. Then he agreed with me. Oh, no, I don't believe in dating either. Okay, cool. Then I called him out and I say, but wait a minute. Because I didn't say that I had just been listening to Angela Yee, so it was fresh in my mind. I said, wait a minute. The woman just said that she was coming out of her celibacy for 2 years, and she looking to have a whole phase, and she said that she kind of want a man for this time, and you said date them all. Right? Cool.
Golden Seal.
Golden Seal. My mother gave it. I'm talking about, you got a headache? Drink some Golden Seal. Your stomach hurt? Drink some Golden Seal. Put a little ginger in it.
Now ginger, I love. I put ginger, some fresh ginger and everything.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And during COVID, a lot of kind of help people shake.
Jordan, from this, before you got here, we were talking to Jordan about, are you ready to settle down, Jordan? Like,
no.
No.
Oh, I know that's right, Jordan.
I would like to do a year. I was celibate for 2 years.
Okay.
So I'm coming out of my celibacy. I kind of want to have a phase where I have 3 hoes. 3 hoes.
Come on, rotation.
Yeah, just to like live that life for a little bit, like a solid roster. Just because I've never done that. I've been
Now, when you say coming out of your celibacy, are you out of it already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, then I got ghosted. So that's a whole other story. But I'm like, you know what? I want to have like a little Tuesday, a little Wednesday, a little Saturday.
Right.
Am I cooking or was I accurate? Am I cooking from what I said last night for those of y'all that was in the live stream, or am I accurate? Did I not describe this conversation and he said that I was lying? And I told him, I said, listen, you don't really realize that this stuff is recorded. So you can sit here in front of us and try to feel some and try to, you know, finesse and act like you didn't say what you said or she didn't say what she said. But the fact of the matter is that you are pandering because you did say it and now you switching up your answer, but I just watched you. I just watched you. Look, they can't find it on that live stream, but I promise you, I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget. I'm not going to forget.
But I'm like, you know what? I want to have like a little Tuesday, a little Wednesday, a little Saturday.
Right.
On
I love that for
rotation.
you. But she knows what
Keep
she
it
wants.
cute.
So what do you think
Right.
about that?
I say date them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, then I got ghosted. So that's a whole other story. But I'm like, you know what? I want to have like a little Tuesday, a little Wednesday, a little Saturday.
Right.
On
I love that for
rotation.
you. But she knows what
Keep
she
it
wants.
cute.
So what do you think
Right.
about that?
I say date them all.
Different examples. One thing that he said previously, when he just spoke, not just this time, but previous to that, is he was speaking about submission and how you can inherently, every woman has the ability to be submissive, depending on the chase or out there, and they try to get the thing they don't really yoke, but you've all people for them. So because we hearken unto the voices of one that before them. That's the person that has your best interest in space. A gateway for you to find. I want to fast forward to a certain thing that he said.
They're like, look,
I'll just say so wifely duties.
But you said you didn't believe in dating.
Hold on, bro. Cook them. Now, this is a sister saying she's already dated. I said, look, date them all.
Now, occupations that you're not supposed to be in. In our culture, we used to depend on our family to help us vet and see things that we couldn't see. But now we're choosing for ourselves. So again, I don't believe in dating. I believe that dating is just the gateway for you to find yourself in situations that you're not supposed to be in. And I believe that you know your wife very, very early. And a lot of times we skip over the person that we're supposed to be with.
So you know what? I get context now. This is why you brought up. So I think this is a difference here because you actually stated when you went to Angela Yee, the young lady was stating, because a lot of women think, ask this question too. They're like, look, I want to date multiple men. You know, that's like a big thing. They want to date multiple men.
This is a sister saying she's already dated. I said, look, date them all until you find what's for you. I didn't say sleep with them all. I didn't say cook for them all. I didn't say do no wifely duties.
But you said you didn't believe in dating.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. This is a woman that asked me a question.
I know. I seen it.
Right. She said, I'm already dating 3 men.
That's not what she said. She said she wants a Tuesday, a Wednesday, and a Thursday. And you advised her to date them all. Right after you said, I don't believe in dating. I don't believe in dating. And then he told them to date them all. She looking to have a hoe phase. And you said, date them all. Then he goes on to say, charge them $50,000. Angela Yee goes on and say, but wait a minute, some men is going to look at that as prostitution. And then he justifies it by saying, Men go and spend $10,000-$20,000 inside of the strip club.
Date them all until you find what's good for you. So now, if you're already having sex, stop. I tell women all the time, you're being a wife to a man that doesn't even deserve that.
Right.
You're cooking for a man that doesn't deserve that. And this is when I say, is he at least paying your bills? Because that's what a husband does. People are taking my words and putting their own remixes on them.
I didn't say you said anything that you didn't say.
I'm talking to him, brother. It's okay, brother.
No.
It's okay, brother. I love you. Hey, bro, I love you, man.
No. You talking to him, but
so
you debating me.
A lot of people, Go
ahead, Kamala.
Honestly, talking to you now, I realize it's not even a debate. Because a lot of our basics are similar. A lot of the foundation of what me and him talk about is similar.
True.
It's just different angles from different perspectives. And I understand his opinion. I see it, and I respect it. I respect it. Yeah, I think that might be my little brother right there. You never know.
That's cute. That's cute.
See, that's my favorite line.
Now let me show y'all something else. I want y'all to see something else. Check out what he says, right?
No, just because clearly she wants some physical attention.
Now, what if you would be like, you want to sleep with me? $50,000.
Facts.
Because that's.
I'm going to play it again for the people in the back. Because I said what I said. And now they trying to act like I didn't say what I said. And he tried to act like he didn't say that. Because I then go on and say, well, Angela Yee said that if you want to sleep with me, $50,000. And you said facts. Listen.
No, just because clearly she wants some physical attention.
Now, what if you would be like, you want to sleep with me? $50,000.
Facts.
Because that's advice you would give, right?
Hey, no, yo, listen.
Wow. What would that conversation look like? Like, what would that conversation look like? Like, he asked you to dinner and then what?
It's funny. No, because I tell my sisters this.
Is this dude the biggest panderer that you ever seen in your entire life? Listen to what this man is saying to these women, bro.
Who wants to date you? 50,000. 50,000 off
Like
top.
in cash or
50, no, if they can't afford a payment plan, 50,000.
Okay.
And if they don't have it, you're dating in the wrong pool.
So
this dude said, put men on a payment plan. Put men on a payment plan. I said that the internet was forever. I said that the internet is forever. And so this is what I want to say about this, okay? Let's move away from this for a second. Let's move away from this for 1 second. Because we're going to do a whole breakdown of this. I'm gonna break it down. I just wanted to revisit that really quickly. But I do want to say something for my fellas, for my guys that's in the chat. Because we want to move over into Candace Owens and Marc Lamont, okay? Y'all gonna have to gird up. Ladies too. When I speak to the fellas, I'm also holding it down for the ladies. Y'all gonna have to gird up. What does that mean? That means that we gonna have to get into our Bible. We gonna have to start focusing on our spirituality. We gonna have to read books and educate ourselves. And I'm not talking about fun stuff and fantasy. I'm talking about financially educating yourself. reading David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me. We're going to have to align ourselves on Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Alchemist, The Richest Man in Babylon, the Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. You're going to have to understand the 700 Years of Slavery. That's a book. We're going to have to start reading our word, the Bible, the King James Version of the Bible. We're going to have to start dedicating ourselves to becoming more knowledgeable. We're going to have to start letting that, then implementing it, right? The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, Buffettology by Warren Buffett. We're going to have to start really deep diving. I need y'all to put the video games away. I know that some of y'all are going to reject this. I know that some of y'all are going to say, Anton, nope, I ain't giving it up. Anton, nope, I'm not studying for myself. Anton, nope, I work my 40 hours and I just want to go home. Let me tell you something, bro. This is a war. If I'm not the perfect example for you, not saying that I'm better than you or I'm the best to ever do it, but to tell you that I don't rest on my laurels. I'm not satisfied with just enough, because it's not about it being enough. And the money is going to come regardless, because you're going to be rewarded according to your greatness. And as long as you continue to be great and level up, that's going to be reflected in everything in your life. But what I am telling you is that I'm not fighting just for me right now. I'm fighting for men. I'm not the person that's under duress when it comes to family court laws. But you know why I'm in, and why I can speak towards the plight of men is because I am in a position of power and I don't have to wait till I get in duress before I advocate for you guys. Okay? But you're going to have to help me. You're going to have to do the work too. We got to get our families together. We got to stop sleeping around meaningless sex. We got to start going to work. We got to start eating healthier. We got to groom ourselves. We got to be in a position of power, because don't nobody want to hear from anybody that has not gotten themselves together. Nobody wants to have a conversation with the guy on the street or the bum on the street and he trying to give you financial advice. They don't. Nobody want to go to a fat trainer. They don't. Don't nobody want to hear from a person that don't have their family together. You know why it was so difficult for him to debate me last night? And he never knew what was going to happen to him. He had no clue. And I warned him. I said, listen, go and get you some extra water. I know you think that this is going to be something else, but you've never met a dude like me before. Because see, you can't throw ad hominem attacks at me. My wife was there with me. I'm a reflection of what I advocate for. Before I ever get into a debate, they first research you. They first want to know who you are, because they want to know if they can then use what you had against you. And I had so many different clips loaded up that I decided not to even throw those, because I don't throw ad hominem attacks. I don't want to bring in, I didn't need to bring his past into the future, into the forefront to expose. It didn't have to expose him like that. I was able to expose him like this. You can't debate my arguments. I spend an infinite amount of time doing self-work, communicating effectively, right? All of this stuff is going to spill over into all of these different things. I've been married longer than you and successfully married. My family is together. I don't have any children out of wedlock. My money is right. You can't use the same tactics. You can't say, oh, that's because you dusty. Oh, see, all of these men want to feel some type of way because they ain't got their women. No, my household is in order, more in order than you could ever imagine. I'm a reflection of my word. I live it. And so all they had to go off of was the questions that was being asked. And if you notice, in other conversations that he had with other men, he would bring up what they doing wrong, but he couldn't do that with me. So in order for him to emphasize his point, he had to bring up what he did wrong. He had to go into his past and say, no, I was dusty before. Oh, I was messed up with all these other women before. But see, when you remove the excuses, it makes your argument that much greater. And so what I'm telling y'all is, y'all have to absolutely 100% be on point 100% of the time, and you got to gird up. Because I'm not doing this for me. My family is good. I'm doing this for the culture. I want to be, and I've always told y'all this, I want to leave this earth in a better space had I not been here. I want my men and my guys and my women and all of y'all to be incredibly successful. That's why I show y'all my receipts. That's why I document the journey. But in order for you to be prepared for war, you got to gird up. You got to get your breastplate of righteousness. See, in every way, he was outgunned, outclassed, out everything because I knew my word better than him. So then when he tried to bloviate and change what the word of God said, I was able to debate that. No, 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 no. You don't put your trust in a person. You don't look up to a woman. You don't make a woman your God. That's called idolatry, right? When we start going into the word of God, I'm girded up because I study every day. I pray every day. I don't have to. When he first got on the stream, he started doing this stuff for the people. When the cameras come on, okay, let's pray. Cool. Guess what? I had prayed all day, every day, because I stay consecrated. I stay in my word. I study my Bible. So then when somebody comes up and they showed up, because see, the devil know the Bible too. And when they try to leverage the word in order to try to debate you and defeat you, you could just say, no, Because guess what? Jesus was tempted 3 times by the devil. Hey, call on your God. Call on your God, lest your feet get dashed against that ground. Oh, you hungry? You hungry? Man shouldn't live on bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth. You don't have to. I could reference it immediately. I'm referencing it immediately. I can lean on my word and I can reference exactly where it is that I found it at. And when I hear something that don't sound right, no, you misquoting the scriptures. And then you remove all of the things that they could say about you because your life is a reflection of it. So now the only thing that women, even the women that was against me, of course I know I was in hostile territory. So even the women that was against you in a chat, all they could do is throw attacks at what they thought I was. Oh, he must come from a broken household. Nope, 2-parent household. Oh, I bet you that his wife is under duress. No, she's sitting right there. And even Yada had to acknowledge, yeah, and I'm glad your wife is dope. What can you say? All of those little attacks, because I got my breastplate of righteousness on. Because I don't have any part where you can poke me and stab me at. You got to look me in my eye. And you got to stop talking to them. And eventually I'm looking at you, you looking at them because you don't want to face me. Because the longer that we talk, the worse it got. But the reason why they've been able to dismiss so many of y'all up to this point is because they was able to refer to you and it was, hey, listen, you with her, but you ain't married her. And you got a bunch of kids out of wedlock and you broke and all of this other type of stuff. And it may not have anything to do with the argument that y'all having, but then it then puts you at a disadvantage because they able to attack you on things that you're not girded up in. And so you then got to prepare yourself. You got to put yourself in a position of power. They don't listen. You know why they hate me? Because I am the biggest advocate for you while not at the same time suffering as in the same way that our guys are suffering. So I'm much more powerful as an advocate because they can't use ad hominem attacks in order to attack what it is that I'm saying to them. When you run up upon a dude, a rich man, what you gonna do? Say he broke? No. You can't do it. And I didn't even dig into him. I didn't dig him in his past or anything like that. But what I'm telling my guys is that it's time to put away the childish games and it's time to become a man. It's time to put away childish games and you got to become a man. You got to get in your word. You got to get your money right. You got to stop buying stuff to impress people that don't care nothing about you. You got to stop being dusty. You got to stop letting these women be able to. Is it a woman in your past that can come up and say, hey, man, he did the Diddy to me? I don't worry about that. I speak so confidently. I speak so matter of fact because I'm 100% on point. I don't worry about it. Anything that anybody say about me, all they can do is make up lies. All they can do is make up a rumor. Because I'm that. And again, I'm not sitting here trying to say it because I'm bigging myself up. I'm saying it because I want to be used and to be a tool to do the right thing for righteousness, for righteousness' sake. And it ain't about me per se, it's about us. But I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with you. Let's get it. I shouldn't be the only one up here that's prepared for war. I shouldn't be the only one up here that can communicate effectively. I shouldn't be the only one up here that's reading my word. I shouldn't be the only one up here that's getting rich. I shouldn't be the only one up here that's advocating. I shouldn't be the only one that got his family together. I don't want to be that. And I know it's a lot of y'all, it's a silent majority of y'all that also rock with me. That's also a reflection of it. But we got more work to do. We got more work to do. And no, I'm not paying $50,000 for box. You can forget it. I know I entertain y'all. We have fun on Monday night. I say wild stuff, but at the end of the day, is your life a reflection of the thing that you advocate for? Would you want your daughter to marry you? Let's get it. All right. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to move over to the next portion of the show. And I appreciate y'all. I do. But we got to work. We got to work. Ian says, bonus children. Nah, we going to pass on the bonus children. Anton, get Airbnb under an alias name. I'm not in the Airbnb. I'm in a hotel. I got a whole suite. I got bedrooms, bathrooms. I got a whole suite. So, nah, this ain't an Airbnb. This is a hotel. Self-made trade says, read the article. Trump said women of all races should be protected. Trump also been pro-death penalty for grape and unaliving people. Yeah, I don't believe in unaliving people in grape. Jeff says, AD, did you see the Department of Justice Directive 5240? I didn't. Send it to me. Email it to me. The Daily Man says, keep at it, Anton. Men need to hear what you're saying. You need to follow what you're doing. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, the Daily Man. My dog, Five Brown, says, Darshan is 100% correct. Trump's article was about crime in general and how the police were losing control of the city, in which there were 1,800 murders in NYC in 1989, and he only mentioned Central Park 5 once. Great Way is in the building, says, did you call that man Kamala? Yeah, he kept saying the same talking points, and word salad didn't even add no context. I'm unsubscribing just to subscribe again just for that. You wild AD, and we love it. Shout out to the Great Way. Levi Apparel says, Anton, saw your whole thing. You won 2-hour pandering. Shout out to you. Flat Girl Candy says, is it possible for me to get you set up for an interview with hip-hop legend Lord Jamar? He and producer Artie Stacks would like to interview you on the God Pod. If that's what they want to do, send me an email. I usually pull up anywhere. I'm not Hollywood like a lot of people. So yeah, I mean, send me an email, Fly Girl Candy, and we can get it popping. Hadn't heard of Yada before this, but what I got from him is he seems just like a other dude with the gift of gab, kind of like Polite. I don't know much about Polite, so I can't compare him. But he was a good person. I will give him that. He was a good person off camera, and we shook hands and everything like that. Respectfully, he's a hybrid of Derek Jackson sprinkled with Dr. Umar. No accountability for women, but we'll tell them everything they want to hear. You are tough on us because what's expected from us. I appreciate you. And then he gonna lie and say, the majority of my audience is men. Shut up. I can't believe he tried to hit me with that. Advanced Perception says, just tuning in. I just watched this whole debate. I also saw the last mini debate y'all did. You watch Yada, then you roasted him. Now let him talk. It's different when we in person. Nina Lynn says, you said that women who have children out of wedlock need to make it work with the men they chose as fathers for the best interest of the children. That is exactly what I said. That is exactly what I said. Lip service show is degenerate. High Tolerance says a young lady has no problem with being a walking petri dish and left with the wet A. Ungodly counsel will have you broken and compromised. Date them all. That's what he said. Frederico says, ladies, put me on a payment plan. You will never see that full 50,000. Put me on a payment plan. So silly. AD got a memory like a steel trap. Stop playing, man. Listen, they gonna lie to me yesterday acting like he didn't say what he said. Pastor Love offering this is comical, bro. I promise this has to be Derek Jackson 3.0. Homie is a kung fu pandering of 2024. Turn it off. Deshaun Rose says, yo, these likes are deplorable. Hit the up button. Advanced Perception says, Anton, the more they talk, the more they expose themselves. Can't count the number of times I says, hold up, Yada. You was the worst matchup for them. I can't believe they convinced him to agree, to be honest with you. You're one of the best examples, Anton. I appreciate the tough love. I love you too, big dog. Shout out to my girl, Molly. All right, Molly, I'm about to officially get her in here in 2025. She's going to be an official member of one of these shows I got going on. Darius Davenport says, good morning, Anton. He was acting like Daddy Sam. Servant didn't entice women to leave the home too. Same thing. Jason Statham says, much respect to you, AD, for standing 10 toes down and never shifting. Even when society does, being normal isn't normal. Standing 10 toes down. BK in the building says, all know who you are in Jesus first. Shout out to the Jesus Most High. I love you, God. My God, my God, my God. All right, y'all ready to go and get into this last part of the show? Let's spend 15 minutes on this, all right? Let's spend 15 minutes on this last part. And we gonna get to it. Let's talk about Candace Owens. Now, I know that this is an hour long, and we might have to break this down on the Anton Daniels channel. However, Candace Owens pulled up to Piers Morgan with Marc Lamont. And Rashawn, I'm gonna read that super chat shortly. But Candace Owens pulled up to Piers Morgan with Marc Lamont to mainly argue about what was going on with Diddy, so on and so forth. All right, as far as what I've seen. So let's see if we can mine out a little bit what happened, and we're gonna go from there. Thank you guys for hitting the like for the algorithm. I appreciate y'all. And if you've been here more than once, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I want y'all to know when we go live. We go live every single morning. And then last but not least, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let's go.
Behind the scenes. The next US president will either be an accomplished state prosecutor and senator or a billionaire real estate mogul who served 4 years in the Oval Office. At least that's how I and many other people see it. But the laws of identity politics, this is actually a contest between a mixed-race woman and a very privileged white man who's intrinsically racist, and race has inevitably become a lightning rod in this election. This week, Kamala Harris said that she's open to taxpayer-funded reparations for slavery. She also unveiled an opportunity agenda for black men, which included legalizing weed and offering 1 million forgivable loans.
That sounds so funny, legalizing weed. Okay.
To black business owners. Most black voters will support her, nobody doubts that, but she's on track to win a much smaller share of black voters than Joe Biden did in 2020. Donald Trump, meanwhile, is on course to make substantial gains amongst black voters. In a little while, we'll debate why that is. But first, we're going to focus on P. Diddy, whose scandal deepens daily, already facing federal charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering.
Let's get to the debate.
Podcast, Candace Owens, and the host of Bet News and Upfront on Al Jazeera, Professor Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to both of you. Candace, good to have you back on Uncensored. P. Diddy, this seems like every day the scandal gets bigger and worse for him. Yeah, it certainly does. And I'm not surprised whatsoever. I mean, I think I was on your show before he got arrested, and I brought up what was going on with him, and because I had read through the lawsuit, and it was just one of those things that was unavoidable because there was so much evidence. I mean, there was picture documentation, there was video documentation. And I also want to be clear that the press and the media and the public at large is shocked by what's happening, but we really are just getting to the beginning of everything. There are a lot of people who have been named that have not been brought to heel, people that were above him, music executives, and none of this is shocking, really. I think, yesterday a report came out that showed that faith in the mainstream media is at an all-time low, right? I think something like 65% of Americans no longer trust the mainstream media. The Diddy case is a perfect example as to why that is. You have people that spent so much time defending this man. This man was allowed to be with every presidential candidate. He was allowed to throw parties. He was hailed as a hero. And yet behind the scenes, everyone knew that this is what he was engaged in. This was an open secret in Hollywood. In fact, when Kanye last year said that he was a Fed and started speaking about some of these allegations, he was simply dismissed as crazy. People at the upper echelons of society and politics knew about this, and they were okay with it. Fundamentally, because he was acting a part, I very much believe what Kanye alleged, that he was acting a part like Jeffrey Epstein, in which he was collecting blackmail over various people that were in Hollywood. And so, like I said, we're at the beginning. We're scratching the surface of this scandal. There are some more big names that are going to have to answer for it. And I think also the silence of certain individuals like LeBron James is quite deafening. A person who claims to care so much about Black life, Black Lives Matter, on the ground, taking a kneel, Okay, that's fine. But now you have a friend of yours who has been on camera beating a Black woman, okay? You said nothing when that happened. You also know that you have various Black people speaking out about how they were abused by him, and you have said nothing. So I don't like the hypocrisy behind that.
Yeah.
She is so articulate, well-versed, can communicate effectively, makes her point concise, and she stand on it. She is probably one of the most feared people as far as debating that somebody can stand in front of, especially somebody like a Marc Lamont Hill. Let me see what he has to say about this.
I think it's a good point. I mean, Mark, there are lots of big names being dragged into this. We don't know where the truth lies with that yet. But certainly people like LeBron have been deafening with their silence for the reasons that Candace just articulated. It reminds me a little bit of Epstein in relation to all the apparent taping of videos and pictures and stuff that was allegedly going on. And we'll see what that plays out like in a courtroom. But it also reminds me of Harvey Weinstein in the sense that there you had somebody in the movie industry, as big as P. Diddy, I think the most Oscar-nominated person in the history as a producer in Hollywood, where everyone must have known something about him, right? I mean, I knew that Harvey was a pretty bad bully and all the rest of it. And it must have been more than an open secret amongst a lot of those celebrities and Hollywood crowd.
Did you know about Diddy, Piers?
No, I didn't, no. No,
wait a minute.
Well, I didn't know. I met Diddy. I'll tell you, I met Diddy a couple of times. I mean, here's the analogy I'm going to make is, I met Diddy twice for about 10 minutes. Harvey, I knew a lot better, and I knew there was an unsavory side to him. I didn't know about all of the rape stuff that then emerged, but I do believe there must have been a lot of people who did know that stuff, who were around Harvey Weinstein at a close enough level to know that. And I certainly believe with P. Diddy that there were a lot of people that were going to these freak-off parties and so on, who must have known for many, many years that all this stuff was going on. That's the parallel I'm drawing.
No, I understand the parallel you're drawing. The idea that I'm disputing is just the idea that everyone knew, or that
I don't mean everybody. I mean, look, I just think a lot of people must have known.
Of course. We're not in disagreement about a few things. First, everything that Diddy has been accused of is despicable and indefensible, and I hope that he is held accountable in all the ways that are fair and just and reasonable. There are, who knows how many victims? There are lots of allegations. I have no doubt that lots of the allegations are true, and as Candace said, I have no doubt that lots of people have known for a long time. And there are lots of reasons why people didn't come forward. Some of it is good old-fashioned Hollywood culture, which is people are getting exploited, people are getting hurt, people are getting harmed. But as long as it's the old boys network, we don't care. And Diddy became one of the old boys network. The old boys network isn't just old white men. It also includes powerful, rich black men. Not in the same way, but certainly people like Diddy are in that mix. I don't disagree with that. I'm very uncomfortable throwing LeBron James's name out there as someone who knew something or has some conspiratorial
to be fair,
reason
but on
for not
that, I
speaking.
think Candace was quite careful how she worded that. She didn't say that he knew. She just said he's been deafening by his silence, which he has. He's been very vocal about a lot of other issues involving the black community in America. Why is he so silent? Just because it happens to be somebody he used to party with. It's just interesting.
It is interesting, but I want to caution the audience not to jump to any conclusions about why LeBron hasn't. Again, let me be very clear. LeBron should speak out about this because something awful happened, and he has a duty. I think all public figures have a duty to speak out against awful, morally atrocious things that happen. I just don't want to leap to a conclusion. I'm not saying Candace did, I'm not saying you did, but I don't want to leap to a conclusion that there's some other sort of reason why he may have done this. The other thing here is
I just remember I just remember.
I just need you to hear.
Okay, yeah,
go ahead, Piers. I'm sorry.
Well, the point I was going to make, just on the point you made.
All I was going to say is. Sorry.
All right.
Okay. There's just a little delay.
Let me go first. Let me go first. The point I was going to make about the point.
You go first.
You just made a really good point, which I want to make a point of, which is I think that the point I would make was when Harvey Weinstein went down, there was an absolute stampede of celebrities in Hollywood who rushed to distance themselves and publicly denounce him.
And I've just noticed that with P. Diddy, there's been a very, very, very small number of high-profile black celebrities, including sports stars, entertainers, and so on, who have chosen to do that yet. So there's a marked difference between the way these two scandals have played out in terms of how many high-profile people are prepared to go, this is disgusting.
Well, I think there's another thing here, right? Harvey Weinstein was a predator, full stop, right? Diddy is, based on the evidence, a predator, full stop, and some other stuff. And there are a lot of people, based on what I know, people I've spoken to, the stories I've heard, and the rumors I've heard for 20 years now, about Diddy that aren't always about predation. And that's the complicated thing here, right? A lot of the
why does
details,
that make it
a lot of
complicated?
the gossip, a lot of the nastiness. You'll just hear me out, you'll understand.
Okay.
The thing is, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the subtext around Diddy isn't about predation, it's around sexuality. And so a lot of people aren't really outraged, especially in the hip-hop community, that Diddy was preying on underage girls allegedly, or that he's beating up Cassie allegedly. Some people are just weirded out that he may have been having sex with dudes. And so there's a multiple things happening here. And so a lot of the people in Hollywood who are being quiet on Diddy, they're not being quiet because they knew he was doing something illegal. Some of them are quiet because they were at the parties, they were at the freak-offs doing freaky stuff. And the freaky stuff isn't illegal, but it can ruin your career in a society that's homophobic. So I'm saying it's...
I hate to say this. But on this point in particular, I 100% agree with Marc Lamont. I 100% agree with what Marc Lamont is saying. I think that there absolutely have been a lot of people, when this thing first came off, people were trying to figure out who was gay. Before they ever, I heard, okay, this might be Meek Mill on this tape screaming, is DJ Khaled sassy, all of this stuff. And again, I am objective. And so I may not agree with Marc Lamont Hill on a lot of issues, including where he stands politically. But with regard to this particular conversation, he's right. He's 100% right. A lot of people were more concerned when these allegations first came out about who was sassy, about these freak-offs, about who was the men that were engaged in the freak-offs and what celebrities could possibly be exposed as a result of it. And where's the names and who's on the tapes and all of this stuff. He's absolutely right. I also agree with him that as much as I like Candace Owens and as much as I actually agree with her on her political stance when it comes to Democrats versus Republicans, to just throw LeBron James' name out there and assume that just because he hasn't spoke on this particular issue, that somehow, some way, and who knows, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but to assume and throw somebody's name out there just randomly and say, why is he quiet about this situation, is wild. You can't just do that. You can't just do that. If the evidence at some point shows that LeBron James was at a freak-off, cool, then we'll have that conversation when it happens. But to just throw somebody's name out there is not right. It's not right. It's not right. I don't agree with it. I disagree with it. You can throw anybody's name out there and saying, why are they so silent about this? I don't agree with Marc Lamont Hill in that he said that LeBron James should speak on this or he should speak about this. I don't agree. I don't think that he has to do anything. People want for celebrities to fall so bad. And I disagree a lot with what LeBron James stands on, especially politically and some of the opinions that he has. But I don't think that you should just throw a name out there until we have facts and evidence as to what if they were doing something that was illegal or improper. Until you actually know that somebody was doing something illegal or improper, you can't throw their name out there and say, why they ain't speak on this issue? It's a million different issues in the United States of America. And if I choose to absolve myself from speaking on something in particular, then that's what I'm going to do. And so, again, I agree and disagree with Marc Lamont Hill. I agree and disagree with Candace Owens. Let me see if I can mine this out a little bit more.
It's a lot of things mixed in.
Okay, Candace, you're raising your hand. I think I know why, but go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you in some ways, what I would just add is it's without question because they did not know that he was recording them. I mean, when I read through that lawsuit, Rodney made it very clear that he had hidden cameras. And if you are a person like LeBron who says ain't no party like a Diddy party, you got Ashton Kutcher talking about what happens at Diddy parties stays at Diddy parties. And finally you learn via the press that actually Diddy has been collecting evidence on all of you and you don't know where those tapes are. That will buy your silence for quite some time because you're hoping that if you keep your head low, you're not going to be revealed as one of these people that was engaged in some of these acts, whether they were heterosexual or homosexual, it doesn't matter. Maybe you're just cheating on your wife and you don't want that to get out into the public. Maybe you were, as Cat Williams described it, in one of the rooms. He said you could just walk around the house. He said this on stage years ago, that you could walk around the house and you would see people engaged in various sex acts. And again, Cat Williams was someone who was dismissed as crazy and dismissed as a drug addict. And it turned out that, or it seems that if these allegations are proven to be true, and I believe
I said
they
go
are.
to the 123.41 mark. Let me go over there. 123.41 mark. Ain't no 123.41 mark. The stream is only 57 minutes long.
Then he was telling the truth. And I think that is the reason that so many of them are silent, because they were doing things. They thought that they were his friend, that they were bad boys for life, and that he would keep things silent when in reality, he was just another Jeffrey Epstein typed character. And they're scared for their lives.
Yeah,
especially if you're.
And I agree with that. That could be some truth to that. But again, I'm very careful about convicting somebody in a court of public opinion just because they haven't said anything. If a tape comes out that then shows that somebody was engaged in something illegal or unsavory, all right, well, then let's have that conversation. But I don't believe in just throwing people under the bus because we don't know what we don't know, and we don't even know what's on the tapes first. So let's see and let things play out. Time is the revealer of all things. Over a period of time, everything comes out into the wash. So we're going to see what happens. But I just don't want to throw people under the bus before they get their due process and before we actually have evidence of it. Because you know what people don't do? They don't go back and apologize for being wrong when they are wrong, and people are wrong a lot. All right. So let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. I got to jump into a Zoom call, and then we're going to rock out from there, and then I'm going to catch y'all tomorrow. Okay. I tried to put on a 2-hour show for y'all, and that's what we did. He's Derrick Jackson 2.0. You exposed him. Shout out to them. Frederico says, Anton, you should host a debate with Candace and No, I ain't even gonna look at that. I wouldn't even disrespect Candace Owens like that. Anyways, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. I got to jump into a very, very, very important Zoom call. Thank you, everybody, for continuing to hold me down. After hours tonight, we're going to get there. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. Subscribe on your way out the door. It's almost 5,000 people in here on YouTube alone. And we're going to get there. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.